What's up, guys? Sub-Zeric here, back for another VOD review. Look, Setsuko's rank 2, North America. Kind of enough said. Look at his last 20. He's very... Setsuko's a hilarious player to watch, man. This guy is legit first or sixth in his games. It is 10 firsts, 6. This guy is either just winning the entire lobby or just going bot 4. So I thought, let's do some Setsuko VOD review. Let's watch the master at work. This is from his stream, I think, yesterday. So, you know, very recent games as far as changes into the meta and stuff like that. Already in chat. This is fucking person in his chat. First game of the night. Let's get right into it, I think he says. GLHF, and Setsuko says, who on earth are you talking to? And then this guy says, you responded. Oh, it's actually so good. Setsuko says no. Oh my god. I mean, look, I can move my head down here if I'm VOD reviewing Setsuko, and then you guys can see his chatting. All right. So this is a Trainer Sentinels game here. A pretty interesting start, actually. Pretty mediocre, I would say. Faerie +1, Witchcraft +1, and Scholar +1. A few things of note here. Obviously, Witchcraft, you know, you can play for something like an 8 Witchcraft. Faerie, you can play for like a 9 Faerie. Just, you know, getting those extra spats will unlock those things. Vertical Scholar is not something you really want to play towards. Obviously, Faerie has the inbuilt synergy with a Scholar in Milio, and Zoe has inbuilt synergy as well. But I mean, I think this makes a lot of sense here. Yeah, I mean, we get a Faerie Crest here, and I think it makes perfect sense to take it. I also think our other options are not amazing. But what Faerie Crest does here is, I mean, one, we could potentially play for a 4 Faerie opener here. We'll see. Oh, wow. So this is crazy to me. I mean, this is a Setsuko play. This is this is the most Setsuko play of all time. He says, I'm going to sell my other 1 cost. I have a Jax 2 here. I'm going to take the 50-50 here on rerolling Seraphine versus the Jax. Obviously, if you reroll Seraphine, it's really, really bad. But if we reroll the Jax, it's really, really good. As long as we hit any kind of frontline or anything like that. And we reroll, and we actually reroll into a Trist here. I mean, low key, you could almost say it's not even that high roll, because you would prefer, like, a solid frontliner here, but I don't know if that makes any sense, really. And so I mean, how could you not enjoy watching Setsuko, man? I think so few people would actually just go for a play like that, and then boom, the immediate Sunfire Slam. It's our first slam here. We don't have like we actually have a pretty strong board with the 4 Faerie, but we are going to lose to this humongous Frosty frontline board. But you know, our board's not completely insane. The Trist 2 helps a lot, and oh, this fight is close. Do we win it? Oh, I mean, if we had won it, then, you know, that's genius mode from Setsuko to actually end up winning the fight with that slam. But sadly, we end up losing it. We're going to move items over to this Tristana 2, who fits a little bit, yeah, about the same on the board, actually. There's not a link between Faerie and any of this stuff. Ooh, that guy had 2 Eldritch Spats. This is going to be a high cap game, honestly. Yeah, this guy also playing for, you know, Giga Vertical Eldritch. You know, we're going to have 7 Eldritch. I mean, not we, but they will have 7 Eldritch on line so early. You are seeing a little bit already, though, just kind of the weakness of 4 Faerie in the early game. I think, you know, 4 Faerie and really 6 Faerie has been buffed up a lot over the most recent patches, but it's still, you know, not in an insane spot, because I mean, we're Trist 2 4 Faerie here with Blaster in as well, and still, I mean, the fact that we're on a 2 loss streak here with an item slammed with you know, the Faerie onto the Poppy here, it's quite surprising to me that we've lost that many fights. Setsuko is really hoping to win this fight so that he can make 20 gold here, though losing also, I guess, makes you a gold in that it keeps your streak going on. But looks like we are going to finally win this fight, pick up the 20 gold here, which is pretty nice to actually get our econ in an okay spot. But yeah, I mean, the name of the game this game is going to be capping out high, right? We're going to hit 9 Faerie this game if we can make it to even just level 8, actually, which is the thing that's so nice about these dummies. But the question is, can we outcap the rest of the lobby? Item-wise here, there's a 3-cost belt, there's a sword as well. He's going to opt to go for the sword here. Interesting. I mean, we have just Sunfire slammed, so I think Setsuko's idea is that, you know, if we don't take something like this sword here, we're actually going to have a very... Ooh, wow. I mean, once again, a very Setsuko play here. He knows that his opener isn't like amazing right now, so he actually uses one of these rolls already at 2-5 to try to play for streak here. It's just, man, it's so fun to watch this guy play, because I mean, even using that roll there, I think is a really big decision, rather than, you know, like waiting until say like level 6 to use the roll. You can bank the rolls forever. You know, you can keep them to like level 8 if you really want to, but he goes for the one roll there. I mean, it seems pretty reasonable, right? We're looking for an extra unit to play, and we end up actually picking up this Rumble, which allows us to fit Blaster and Vanguard here. But now that we have this Hecarim, we're gonna opt to actually play Bastion on this board. I think this makes sense. There is also maybe an idea of getting like an Ari in down the line, but you know, not amazing. What was that? I think that was just a. I mean, I think we just. I don't know what just got cut out of this VOD here, but hey, I mean, I downloaded this this VOD from Setsuko's stream. But hey, we got through Krugs. This was still our board, and we got 2 bows from Krugs, which one is probably gonna end up being a GS, the other's gonna end up being like a Guinsoo or something. And we also have potentially, yeah, this Gwen to play around. Well, I don't know, I skipped Krugs for you guys. There you go. I mean, it speeds up the VOD. Hopefully the rest of the VOD. I'm trying out a new website to download these VODs because Setsuko's VODs are not the most available on Twitch. He usually forgets to upload them. So I wanted to, you know, get some Setsuko VODs to review. Hopefully we don't lose like a minute of content every, like, how many minutes in are we into the recording here? I mean, we're 2x speed. So we would be like 12 minutes into a VOD. I don't think we're going to take Molten Caramel here. We'll probably just take Support Golem here. We do, of course, have a Rumble already, but he's not going to be that good with the Faerie type stuff. I think we'll just take Support Golem here. It's a solid combat augment. Aegis feels pretty good. Having double Golems, there's not really anything crazy good or crazy bad about having the double Golems. You can maybe have something that like buffs the rest of your team up, and then like the double Golems become kind of good. But yeah, I mean, at this point, we're just going to level, get Vanguard onto our board. And I mean, the board fits together nicely. Gwen actually is pretty cool on this board for Sugarcraft, even though it's not the most impactful upgrade here, but you know, the Rumble is really nice to give Bastion to our board and Vanguard to give us some damage and some frontline. And now our board is really working with the Triss 2, with actually having Blaster in and actually having some decent frontline. Now our board actually looks pretty good, and we're winning a lot of these fights. I mean, it's a very classic Setsuko game. Ooh, what did we take? What charm was that we took there? Did he just regular? I think he regular rolled there. I mean, he's on a 5 streak, and we're 1 roll off charm here. I think this is something that not enough people are doing. Obviously, there are some very good players who are doing this, but I think not enough people are rolling in spots like these when we're on a 5 streak. I would imagine Vanguard... Well, actually, maybe not. We have so much frontline in these 2 dummies that I think you could make the argument that, yeah, just playing another Faerie on this board here, playing a random Seraphine too. I talked in the last spot about just the power of Seraphine in the early game. She doesn't have any items here, but still, I could see the argument. Okay, honestly, after we get stomped this fight, maybe we should throw the Mordekaiser back on the board, because that did not look that good. I mean, if we can pick up a Faerie here, it'd be great. Is a Callista on Carousel with a glove here, which, you know, could potentially be a Last Whisper. Okay, we could just go for the Guinsoo then. Yeah. You do really want Guinsoo on Callisto when you're not at really high values of multi-strikers. Would have been nice to pick up the Callisto, but this is fine. I mean, the level here is pretty easy. We can get Warrior in. We are, I would imagine, going to level here. I mean, it's very cheap to level in this scenario. Wow, it looks like Setsuko's gonna make the call that he doesn't actually need to level here. I mean, he has no streak right now. So yeah, we're just gonna play this board. We're gonna make max econ and actually not level here. Wow, I mean, in all of my Setsuko watching, I'm actually very surprised that he, you know, doesn't opt to just level up in this scenario. But he ends up winning anyway. I think his call is that, like, it doesn't really matter winning or losing this fight, and he doesn't want to pay a little bit of gold to level in this scenario. I mean, what about now? Because now it's like really cheap to level here. Yeah, you're paying 1 gold here to level. So now I think, and honestly, maybe you're probably paying 0 gold here to level. Yeah, you can still make 50 gold. So yeah, now it's just a freebie level. We can get Vanguard in. Also, now we have a little bit more of a streak to play for. Not so much, but a little bit. We're gonna fight the multi-striker board. This guy's got a pretty unfortunate dummy, though. Even just 1 multi-striker as your +1 is fine. This is what I find with these dummies, that sometimes people get trapped like trying to go for too much, you know, trying to fit in, oh, I could fit multi-strikers and then I could throw some random Honeymancy in, I could get an Incanter on the board, and like you know, it's oftentimes I feel like just better to play for the really high verticals. That's what, you know, Setsuko is trying to play for this game. This guy's got 7 Frosted, which is crazy. Pick up a Tom Kench here, and the big pickup here is this Katarina. Now we have the Fairy Queen's crown, which is really nice on this board. We're also holding onto Tom Kench still with the idea that, you know, he fits nicely onto the board as a Vanguard. Imagine we're just going to 4-2 this and look for the rest of our board, but we'll see. We just need to find, I mean, the big thing we need to find this game is Milio. We need to be in a spot where we can actually hit Milio this game, because that's how we, you know, cap out high enough to actually win the game. That's how we actually get to play the 9 Faerie onto our board. Curious to see what Setsuko plays as the rest of his board. I think it's usually pretty easy to fit in 3 multi-striker with Hecarim and Akali, which also rounds out Warrior and Bastion for the board. But we'll see. We'll see what's going. I feel like Hecarim's a freebie, and then the next one, like I feel like Warrior on a Katarina isn't that big, but like what multi-striker are you playing? I don't know. We'll see. Last augment here. Duo Q. I don't think it's either of the other two actually. Duo Q, has the possibility of actually throwing you a Milio, which I like a lot. And, worst case, it gives you a couple of components. So actually, yeah, I like this a lot. No Milio, sadly, but it does give us a Morgana. That's the other thing, is that there's a decent number of units that we could play on this board. Ooh, wait. These are some ideas from Setsuko here. So a couple of ideas already. One, not actually rolling in this situation here, just saying, fuck it, we go fast 9 here, we're 50 gold, we got some extra econ from Duo Q here, and we have the Smolder that we can actually play around. The idea being that I can fit Smolder onto this board, we can get out of a Rumble and just play around this. We have 3 Witchcraft in, which is kind of funny with the Morgana here, and, it'd be really nice to be able to get, what's his name in, the Bard that we have on bench here. It would fill out all of these traits, but do we even have an open slot for it? Not currently on the board, but yeah. Okay. I was kind of curious about this. I kind of like this better. Yeah, I think this makes sense. We have a BT that's slammable, reforges, picks up, potentially. I guess we'll see. Because like, the question is, who are you actually going to duo carry on this board? We have all these like AD frontline items, but like, I guess you could throw in actually a random Fiora onto this board. We have the Witchcraft +1, which makes it pretty easy to play, and it's obviously Warrior with Gwen. Ooh, we could also just play. Speaking of Gwen, we could just play Gwen on this board for a while. Now we can certainly think about moving some of these items over. Move Faerie over to Gwen, making the BT onto her, and then making the LW. Yeah, this is the other slam, is LW here, which is, these are interesting slams here, because like I'm curious what our Kalista items are going to end up being, but this is how Setsuko plays the game, right? He's not necessarily playing for like, his idea is like, if you play a strong enough early game, if you play tempo hard enough, it doesn't really matter that our late game items are going to be like a little bit awkward. It's fine, because our tempo is going to be so high that we can just push 9 and figure out a board. And hey, we hit the Gwen too. It's really, really smart to play around this. We also just got Milio off Carousel. That's insane. We actually don't have any of our other 4 costs right now, which is kind of hilarious. And you can just cut the Seraphine for Milio right now, right? But yeah, we are. Ooh, okay. I think this makes a good amount of sense here. The idea that, okay, now that we have the Milio, it actually makes sense to roll on 8, because there's so much value you can get out of rolling here. It's going to be basically this with our items. He has currently the Fairy Queen's charm, like the damage one, onto the Gwen here, and hey, maybe it's gonna stay there is the idea. And he opted to move the GS. He threw GS onto Milio, which is kind of weird, but he is sort of maxing out the idea of being able to play our Milio items. Takes an econ charm here, which is not bad. Also, we don't need more. Yeah, we already actually no, we have Lilia 1, so a Lilia 2 would be nice. But the spot looks great, right? We're 9 Fairy, we're pushing level 9. We stabilized around that with the Milio. This spot looks fantastic. But I love how he's playing around the Gwen here. I guess the question is, if we find Kalista 2, do we move this item over to Kalista? Do we leave it on the Gwen? Is this Gwen even like coming out of our board later? Maybe. Oh my god, 15k. That is the power of 9 Fairy, which, I think a lot of people consider 9 Fairy one of the weaker kind of like verticals compared to stuff like 9 Frost. Obviously stuff like 10 Portal is better because it's more of like a prismatic trait, even like 8 Witchcraft and stuff like this. The statistics say it's like kind of weak, but obviously when you're in a spot like this, you hit it this early, you cannot be upset about that. All right, we pick up, this looks like a Shojin for Milio. You could even go something like Shojin, Gwinsu, Milio. Even Shroud's not amazing as the last item. Do we have Heal Cut on this board? We have the Sunfire, right? So something like, Shojin, Asher, Spark, I don't actually hate. What else is there? Shojin. I kind of like Shojin, Asher, Spark here. Curious to see. We get a Champ Duplicator from our augment here. This is great. And yeah, Shojin, Asher, Spark here. He's actually considering not throwing it onto the Rakan because he wants a better tank item on the Rakan. I probably would just throw this onto the Rakan here, but I do, yeah, I see the idea is that like this Rakan is going to be very not tanky if his items are Spark, Sunfire, so Milio can throw him like an item. Even this Protector's Vow is granting him shielding that's getting amplified by the Giga Fairy Queen armor. So I mean, yeah, I think this makes sense to actually greed that a little bit. We have Morgana pair here, which could be a Morgana 2, and now he's actually going to move the Spark actually onto the Morgana. I mean, I think this makes a lot of sense. And ooh, we roll down a lot here, pick everything up. Okay, and so this is our spot for now. We do have the opportunity of getting out of this Gwen at some point, moving Fairy Charm over to Morgana, and you could either move the big armor over to Morgana. You're probably not moving the damage one over to Morgana, but I think for now we definitely want the Gwen as a duo carry on this board until we can find something else. Morgana is kind of like, she's a tank, but she's also a damage dealer, so maybe you could come up with the idea of using her as both, but hey, we'll see here. I mean, yeah, at this point, this is really smart from Setsuko to scout his matchups here, because his board is really, really strong. If there's someone insanely strong in his pool, then he can certainly consider picking up a charm here. But yeah, he's actually going to just greed the charm, not buy anything here. We're fighting a Veigar board, but that's just a Veigar 2 right now, which, I mean, this late into the game seems quite rough. They do have the Vex 3 with very good items, so we'll see. Can we actually get through this Vex? It took a while, but we got there, so that is going to be another win for Setsuko, and, I mean, guaranteed a top 4 at this point. Ooh, this guy, that is Eldritch +1. Did they actually get it? Was this the Eldritch player? Kirikaya. Go back and look. They did. They got it. Okay, and the other question is, what level are they? Because they just need to be level 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 Eldritch, right? I mean, are they missing anything? They only have 7 in right now. You need 3 spats to hit it. What are they? I feel like they're missing a lot of stuff. They don't have Mordekai's. No, they do have Mordekaiser. Oh, they don't have a Briar. They don't have a Briar, and then they're missing something else. People will yell at me in the comments for it. We have Ash. We have this. I never play around Vertical Eldritch, so I'm like struggling to think of like what the last Eldritch unit that we're not holding here is. But I mean, yeah, they definitely need a Briar, and they need one more Eldritch unit. I'll farm engagement by, oh look, oh, Syndra, right? I forgot about Syndra because this unit's not a unit. I mean, that's fair. I think that's pretty reasonable. Okay, so they need to find a Briar and a Syndra here. Setsuko actually just grabs the Syndra here, maybe even to deny their ability for taking that. Also, it does look like, once again, we skipped a little bit ahead and we skipped like one fight there. I wonder if it's like when Setsuko like plays copyrighted music or something, but like he plays a lot of copyrighted music, so it would be getting rid of everything if that was the case. But okay, we win that fight. Oh, and they died. They actually died. Oh, wow, that's the end of the VOD. How long are we? Only 18 minutes? Yeah, I mean, it's a giga speed VOD review. Well, I mean, yeah, looks like that player died in the one fight that we skipped with this VOD. Okay, maybe I'll try out another solution for these VODs. But yeah, they weren't able to actually pick up the rest of the units. I mean, they had no golden situation, right? So if they don't find Briar and Cinder in a few rolls, they don't have 10 Eldritch. So really unfortunate. And they were really, really low, right? Only 10 HP. So they end up going down here. I imagine that Setsuko beat them because that's more fun. And then 4 people alive here, but we win this fight. And then this other player says 9 Faerie. I'm not beating that. So it is a wrap. Wow. I mean, this is kind of a hilarious game from start to finish, actually, but a very Setsuko game and a very, very fun game to watch. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Check my Twitch channel by the links down below. Thank you guys for watching.